Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you for this Tuesday album review for this premiere video. Hopefully you will enjoy this video tonight for Daughtry Break the Spell, the extended edition or expanded edition. It's the Japan edition for this 17-track record that I got a chance to listen to. It does include the 5 bonus tracks for this whole thing I'm reviewing. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for their third studio album, Break the Spell, and let you know my thoughts on Daughtry's third studio album overall. So let's dive into this album review tonight. So it starts with Renegade, and off to a really strong start. I love the chorus pretty much. Can you hear the sound of a turning wheel? And da-da-da. So it's a very catchy track. And Chris Daughtry's vocals sound very amazing in this track. Sorry, I just got done eating just a second ago. So, yeah. But still, 5 out of 5 for Renegade. Very awesome track. Definitely rocks for sure. As the opening track, it's an outstanding track. Then we get to Crawling Back to You. Pretty good song, too. Really like the drum work in this, and Chris Daughtry's vocals have gotten so much better, and he's sounding very good vocally. Like, for each album cycle, it's like he's raising his vocals, training his vocals really hard enough to hit those notes that he knows he wants to hit. And it sounds really good. So 5 out of 5 for Crawling Back to You. It's a great track. The bridges, the lessons learned and bridges burned to the ground, and it's too late now to put out the fire lyric is really interesting opening verse to the track, and the chorus is a headbanger for sure. Out of My Head is a pretty good song, but I don't know, I have critiques with this one. It's just the way the melody sounds overall. I'm not sure if I'm digging it, but it still sounds pretty good of a track. It's a banger for most of it, but overall it's a 4.75 out of 5 for me. Kind of my least favorite, but not the worst track. Start of Something Good is a really nice mellow track that Daughtry usually likes making. Chris Daughtry's vocals sound really good in this track, but it's the execution with this whole song. It feels a little toned down, but it's nice. So I'd give it a strong 4.75 out of 5. I have a few critiques with the track, but not too many. Crazy is a pretty good song. I really like Daughtry's vocals in this track and how well the track is mixed and produced. Even with the drum work and guitar work, it's a pretty strong track. It definitely hits hard with the drum work. So 5 out of 5. Break the Spell, the title track for the record, is a pretty strong track for sure. I really enjoyed Daughtry's vocals, even the crashing drum work at the end of the track. I Can't Go Without You and all that. I keep going back. I can't live without. I go without. I can't live without you, or whatever lyrics he's singing. I'd have to go back and listen to it, but I've heard this song so many times to know that I really enjoyed it. So this is a strong 5 out of 5. We're Not Gonna Fall. Pretty good song for sure. I really enjoyed Daughtry's vocals. Chris Daughtry's vocals are really outstanding in this track. Just the execution of the melody, the way the guitar work is sounding, even the drum work. This track really hits hard, and in a good way. So this is a 5 out of 5. Gone Too Soon is a very emotional track, for sure. It will put a tear in your eye, for sure, and make you cry a lot, because it's about a unborn child or whatever. It's really sad. The message behind the track is very sad, but it's how Chris Daughtry sings it with his vulnerability. It sounds really good, and I really dig the message behind the track because it's showing the darkest parts of life and what could happen, but there's also a light to it that gets presented at the end of the track. Like, somewhat, but it's a really sad song, but for a good reason. So I give it a strong 5 out of 5 because I really enjoyed this track. Losing My Mind is a 4.75 out of 5 for me. I do dig this track, but I don't know, the way he's doing the falsetto in the chorus at the end of it, it's kind of weird to me. I don't know, it feels off-putting. Don't hate it, but I don't love it. So, yeah, 4.75 out of 5 for Losing My Mind. Rescue Me is a pretty good track, but there are some critiques with the verses sounding a little stale, and just the way the chorus comes off, it sounds pretty good, but it's just the verses are the weak tendency and the slip up for the track. But overall, 4.75 out of 5. Still a pretty good song, I just have my critiques. Louder Than Ever, pretty good track for sure. Really enjoyed the second to last song for the regular edition for this record. So this is a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed Chris Daughtry's vocals in this track. This track was a banger. Spaceship, the closing track for the regular edition for this record, is a really good track. I really like how it's toned down from time to time, and it picks up and progresses as the drum work kicks in and some of the chorus and some of the verses. It's there, but it's still strong of a track, and I really enjoyed what it represented, this track, and how it sounded overall. So 5 out of 5. Then we get Who's They. This one is a pretty good one. Not one of my favorites. It's just, it drags a little, this track. Not in the worst way, but it just, I mean, the drum work's there. Chris Daughtry's vocals are there, but it's just, something about it makes it go by so quick. It kind of seems a little forgettable. Not the worst track, but 4.75 out of 5 for me for this one. Maybe We're Already Gone. I mean, the last song was a pretty good track. It just, I don't know, there was a little mixing issue with that last track, Who's They. Maybe We're Already Gone, like I said, pretty good song in its own way, a little better than the last track, but still overall, I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5. Don't hate it that much, but don't love it too much. I think Chris Daughtry's vocals sound pretty good in this one. It's just the execution is the thing with how it landed with the melody and the song and how it's structured through this track for the 4 minutes and 21 seconds. Everything But Me is a nice song, but does lack some slight replay value. So this is a 4.75 out of 5 for this one. Then you get to Lullaby, the last track on the deluxe edition, which includes the next song, Never Die, which I will be talking about in a second. Lullaby is a nice acoustic track. I'd give it a strong 4.75 out of 5. Not something I'm going to remember, but something I can appreciate as I listen to this entire record in its entirety. So overall, 4.75 out of 5 for Lullaby. Never Die is the best track to close this record out. The official last track for this whole expanded edition, and it sounds really good. It's an awesome track. I really enjoyed Chris Daughtry's vocals in this track. Just the way it executes, did pretty good. So 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I found myself thinking this was a good record from Daughtry. Not one of their best, but it is a good record. It is listenable. There are some songs I can come back to, like Renegade, Crawling Back to You. Some of the 4.75 out of 5 songs for nostalgia purposes, like Out of My Head. I guess, yeah, not really a lot of 4.75 out of 5, just Out of My Head and Start of Something Good. Those are the only ones I can appreciate through the beginning of the record. We're Not Gonna Fall, Break the Spell, Crazy. Then you have Gone Too Soon, Louder Than Ever, Spaceship, and Never Die. Those are the only tracks I really enjoyed. The rest are just there to get you through the record. Not in the worst way, but it sounds good. It just has I have my critiques with this record, so overall, if I were to give this Break the Spell Daughtry album. Its deserved score. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. It's a good record. I think it's worth listening to and checking out for yourself to see what you think of it. But I do have some critiques with this album, with how it sounds song structure wise, just how they execute with certain songs for this record. It just, some of the replay value is not very strong, but it just depends on how Chris Daughtry sings it, how the songs are playing out, and just the way the melody and the mixing and all that sounds. So 8 out of 10 for Daughtry Break the Spell. It's a good record. It's worth checking out. And with that being said, thank you for watching this Tuesday album review tonight.